If you have never seen my face before, I have been making book content on Instagram and on TikTok for like the past 2 years on and off. More recently, I have been consistently posting because reading is now my entire personality at this point. And I am a heavy mood reader. My dog is currently licking himself. So I just put up the majority of my books on my newly renovated book room. So I figured let's go over some of my all-time favorite books and get into the nitty gritty on why I love them, what they're about, and if you should add them to your TBR. So let's get into some of my absolute favorite books of all time that I have read to this date. If you are looking for a dark romance book, I would highly suggest picking up The Blackwood Institute by J. Rose. This is 3 books total in this series. This is the omnibus. This is, as you could tell by the cover, is set in an asylum. This is also a why choose. So our FMC is a convicted murderer. She went through some things and now she is told that she needs to attend the Blackwood Institute. Let me read the back real quick. It says, welcome to the Blackwood Institute, home to the dangerous and disturbed, murder, unhinged, remorseless, insane. Brooklyn West, a convicted murderer, is given an offer she can't refuse. Attend the prestigious Blackwood Institute and complete its 3-year experimental program or rot behind bars for the rest of her life. The deal she couldn't refuse. The deal is simple, or so she thought. Within the Institute's blood-soaked walls lies a harrowing reality painted as a medical marvel to the outside world. Brooklyn doesn't care what terrors awaits. She has one mission, to end her own life. Yeah, this is also really dark. 4 broken fellow patients are determined to derail her plans, all carrying secrets of their own. Cade, Hudson, Eli, and Phoenix will stop at nothing to save Brooklyn from herself. Together, they must fight to survive Blackwood's horrors, even if it means becoming the monsters themselves. The found family in this is so beautiful. All of the boys are inside of the institution as well. Oh, also with like any of these, check trigger warnings. This institute is just not what they think it is. They are doing experiments on patients that is very unethical, let me tell you, and it gets wild and crazy. The end had my jaw on the floor. But all of J. Rose's books are really cool because their worlds are interconnected. So even in another book that you read from her, you're going to still see the same characters, which is really cool. Anything she writes is honestly a masterpiece. My absolute favorite dark romance series of all time is the Ecstasy series. Start with Ecstasy, and then you go into Ominous, book 1 and book 2. The 3rd and final book, Sinister, comes out this June, and I'm so freaking excited. If you are interested in a love triangle, toxic romance, the first line of this, fucking cunt. And then it just goes from there. This one follows Alex, Zara, and Eli. Zara is heavily under the influence and in a relationship with Alex on and off again, but he has this really cutie patootie roommate named Eli, who is a sociopath. So they get into this weird toxic love triangle. There's the scene of going underwater while he diddles her doodle. Just read it. This ends, and then we go into Eli, the cutie patootie psychopath, and we read his love story. And this is the story of Eli and Eden. They meet at school, and let me tell you, this is crazy, codependent, toxic love, and it will take you through it. This is very character driven. There's not a lot of plot going on. You really get into the psyche of the characters, learn everything about them. They are equally as messed up. She definitely matches his crazy the entire way through. This gets darker and darker. Not dark as like shocking things, just how dark their minds are and how messed up they are just mentally. I'm so excited for Sinister to come out to finish Eli and Eden's story. They are my absolute favorite toxic couple ever. Okay, if you're looking for a contemporary romance that is also a rockstar romance, I would recommend No Tomorrow by Carian. Now, let me tell you, this starts very different than any other contemporary rockstar romance that I've read because this man starts out homeless, playing his guitar in the park, and our FMC sees him and can't help but to be kind of drawn to him. She loses her V card to this homeless man under the bridge, but do not let that deter you from reading this because this is one of the most beautiful, heartbreaking love stories of all time. There's heavy mental illness rep in this. I did cry multiple times in this book, but our FMC and our MMC go on such a journey, and it says the people we love are thieves. They steal our hearts, they steal our breath, they steal our sanity. and we let them over and over again. Sensitive subjects such as depression, grief, mental illness, drug abuse, miscarriage, and more. If you have not read it, please go read it because this is a contemporary masterpiece. This is gorgeous, stunning. Give me 10 of these right now. If you want a book that is pitch black, I definitely would not classify this as a dark romance. And this is called Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. Let me just read the back. It says, I watch, I study, I hunt, I prowl. I always go in with a plan, set rules for myself. I don't take unnecessary risks. That's how I've been able to evade capture all these years. But there's something about this girl that is different than the others. When I finally meet her, the rules become a blur. I take her with me. Our main character, he robs people. All of a sudden, he becomes fascinated with our FMC and he starts to stalk her. And in order for her to save her brother and her fiance, she just says, take me with you and don't touch them. And he takes her. And this is very much Stockholm syndrome to the max with so much trauma. Both of them are so unhappy with their lives. I was in shock the majority of this book, but I think it is beautifully written. And I think I read it in 2 sittings because it's pretty short and I could not put it down. It'll have you gripped until the very end. I wouldn't classify this as a romance, even though our FMC does have Stockholm syndrome. So technically she falls for her captor. But beautifully written, and I would highly recommend it if you like that kind of thing. Fairydale is a book that I read, I think 2 years ago now, and I fell in love with it. I feel like people either love this or hate this book. I don't understand the hate quite personally, and it's very much I will love you in every lifetime, which is why I think this is the most romantic book I have ever read. And I said what I said. August 1955, when Miss Darcy O'Sullivan, an orphaned English teacher from Boston, receives a letter that her biological father passed away. She's surprised to find herself included in his will. There's only one condition. She must travel to Fairydale to attend his funeral. Odd rumors, odd residents, odd deaths. Everything about Fairydale is odd, including the brooding Caleb Hale, part of his infamous Hale family. During the day, she falls deeper and deeper under his spell as he forces her to step out of her comfort zone and embrace her inner sensuality. But at night, it's another man who haunts her dreams, a nobleman who lived 2 centuries ago. We just got to keep this one simple. She's dreaming about this man who is like obsessed with her, would die for her. And then she's also falling for this crazy, creepy Caleb in Fairydale because Fairydale is just like the weirdest place ever. But she wants this inheritance from her father because she's broke. So she's in Fairydale. When I first picked this up, I thought it was about fairies. There's literally no fairies in this. That is literally just the town, Fairydale. This book had me saying, what the hell is going on? Until like 70%. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I started putting the pieces together. So expect to be confused if you haven't read this. And then a duet that I do not have physically that I need to buy is Drive in Reverse. So the Bittersweet Symphony duet by Kate Stewart. These are 2 separate rockstar romances. We have a love triangle in the first one, which is so well done. It will have you questioning who you want her to end up with. And then the second one is a forbidden love, which is equally as heartbreaking and will put you through it. If you have not read these 2, I would highly suggest listening to the audiobooks because the narrations are perfect. Drive follows our FMC who is obsessed with the music industry, obsessed with music in general, and the MMC is a drummer in a band. She fully believes his talent, but before he gets big, he's like, peace out, I gotta go. Like, he's dealing with his own things going on. He's not mentally ready to be in a relationship. So she says, am I heartbroken? Yes, but go do you. And then she falls in love with a coworker of hers. Even though she's with another man, she still loves this other guy, Reed. You follow this crazy, emotionally charged love triangle, and at the end of the day, she does choose based on what her heart is telling her. And then the second book, Reverse, we follow the second gen of the characters from book 1, and oh my gosh, I think I love this book even more. The forbidden love of them because their parents were so intertwined with one another that they don't think that they can be together, and the push and pull is heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. It will put you through it. Oh my gosh. And then one that I read quite recently is Call Me Baby by Nicole Fiorina. This book, if you like a man that yearns, read this. Go read this right now. Our FMC is in the music industry. She writes music. But when they first meet, she sees that he has lyrics that she wrote in a song on his body. Sorry, that right there beautiful. She is a commitment phobe. She does not want to be tied down. She does not want to be committed. She has been through some trauma and turbulations in her past. And she says, no. They meet each other and they have this instant connection where they both are like, what is this? This is really crazy. So he tries and tries and tries to break down her walls this entire book. The groveling and yearning in this, but this girl has rules. She wants to get hers, if you know what I mean, but she does not want to be committed or fall for anybody. And Andrew's like, no, I want to be your man. I fell in love with this book. Like as soon as I picked it up, I was in it. And Andrew Harding, that man has a mouth. He knows how to use it so well. I wouldn't say it leaves off on a cliffhanger, but it leaves you wanting more. Let's just say that. I know book 2 comes out soonish and I cannot wait to read it, but this is gorgeous inside and out, but the yearning is unmatched. If you like a by Saffron A. Kent teacher student trope, I would suggest The Unrequited. This is a professor student romance. I know a lot of people don't like the cheating trope, but he is technically married. He does have a marriage in trouble. Let me just read the back. Layla Robinson is not crazy. She is suffering from unrequited love, but it's time to move on. No more stalking and no more obsessive calling. What she needs is a distraction. A blue-eyed guy she keeps seeing around the campus could be a great one. Only he is the new poetry professor, the married poetry professor. Thomas Abrams is a stereotypical artist, rude, arrogant, and broody, but his glares and taunts don't scare Layla. She might be bad at poetry, but she is good at reading between lines. Between his prickly facade, Thomas is lonely and Layla wants to know why. Obsessively. Our FMC is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She kind of stalks him. Not in like the... no, it is kind of creepy. But she is very obsessive. So she is the obsessed one. He is very slow to give in. She even gets a tattoo for him. This is also a beautiful story, in my opinion, because they're both really lonely people. Despite him being married, I know we don't like that in real life, but despite him being married, he is very lonely. And this girl does not stop because she is cuckoo. Because she is so obsessed and kind of stalkerish, she's like, let me have my turn. And I loved how it ended because it kind of like, it made sense to me at the very end why they're together. Just go read it. It's a gorgeous book. It's very tiny. This is one book that I think about all the time. I know this is getting really long. So another favorite is Blood and Betrayals. I could not put it down. If you like Zodiac Academy, the same vibes that are kind of in that, I feel like you would like this too. Let me just tell you, I was kind of thrown off by the insta love of the two main characters when I first started this. However, things are not quite what you think when you're reading this. Although they're together, there's other characters that are in the background. Our FMC is a fae. She is new to this university. At this university, there are all kinds of creatures. There's angels, there's fae, there's vampires, all of the above. There's murders happening at the university, and all of the victims look like our FMC. So clearly she is being targeted. She also has like this stalker who is calling her, and we don't know who he is. I have theories, but there's also this mysterious man in the background. And she keeps learning more about him and the tension between her and this mysterious man, even though she does have a boyfriend. I love how there's the academy setting. We have the murder mysteries going on. We have all the different mythical creatures. And we have this underlying just who is this mystery guy that is essentially kind of like protecting her, but we don't know who he is. And the tension between her and him, off the charts. And the ending of the story had my jaw on the floor. Give me one of your favorite books of all time so I can add it to my TBR and read it and hopefully add it to my favorites as well. But that is all for now. See you next time. Bye.